Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we're plunging into a really fascinating collection of sources you've shared with us. We've got excerpts from a story detailing, interactions, locations, and some truly puzzling events. It all centers around this mystery involving high society, a grand chateau, a pretty brazen theft, and of course, the legendary Arsène Lupin.
And our mission really for this deep dive isn't just to retell the story. We want to guide you through this material, sort of pull out the key threads,
Right.
understand the characters, not just what they do, but why, and piece together the events to, extract the most important nuggets of knowledge and insight hidden in this really intriguing narrative.
Okay, let's unpack this then. Our deep dive kicks off not really with action, but setting the scene at this grand chateau.
Yeah, the atmosphere.
Exactly. The air's thick with anticipation and maybe a bit of social tension. Germaine Gournay-Martin, the wealthy heiress, she's getting ready for her wedding to the Duke of Chamras.
And the sources give us a sharp look at Germaine right off the bat. Her voice is described as, petulant, rather harsh?
Yeah, and her beauty, high-colored, rather obvious.
Right. Which immediately contrasts her with Sonia Krichnoff, who's her writing girl. Sonia is painted as, delicate, gentle, sympathetic, showing perfect patience, even though Germaine seems incredibly demanding. You instantly see that class divide and the personality clash. It's laid bare right there.
Right, and it's underlined by Germaine's obsession with the wedding details, specifically the invitations. There's this, elaborate system of crosses.
Oh, yeah, the crosses.
Single for the church, double for the breakfast, triple for the contract signing. It's less about inviting people and more about, broadcasting social hierarchy, isn't it? And her own place in it.
Totally. And her view of her fiancé, the Duc Jacques de Chamras, is just as telling. She mentions his past poverty, how he had to sell the chateau for funds for his South Pole expedition. She seems to think he's sober, admired, but then there's that really revealing line about decorations. She hopes he gets decorated, but thinks the Legion of Honor is, quote, all very well for middle-class people, but out of place for a duke.
Wow. That's quite something. It really shows that for Germaine, it's all about the title, the perceived status. That outweighs any real achievement, even something like the Legion of Honor.
Exactly. It just sets this tone of, superficiality in this high society world that Lupin's about to, disrupt.
Absolutely. The stage is definitely set. Wealth, status, and, a touch of underlying snobbery.
For sure.
Now, just as we're settling into this world, there's this strange little visit. Monsieur Chauvelet, described as a retired brewer, and notably a chevalier of the Legion of Honor, which Germaine just scoffed at.
Right, the irony.
He arrives unexpectedly with his sons. They say they want to talk about buying a motor car from Germaine's father.
And this is where the sources drop this tiny but really significant hint of deception, don't they?
They do.
While Germaine and Sonia are busy, young Charolais, the son, makes this lightning-fast move, his hands described like the tongue of a lizard grabbing a silver statuette.
And the father hisses at him, "Drop it, you idiot! Put it back!"
Oh, that detail. It's not just like a clumsy theft attempt. The father's reaction makes it sound like this is, not the first time, maybe even expected behavior from the son.
Yeah, it plants this little seed of suspicion, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Casual criminality right at the start. Though Germaine, totally lost in her own world, just dismisses them as creatures.
And this brief moment, plus that mysteriously broken window pane and the Duke being late, which Germaine notes is odd, it all introduces these little notes of unease into the chateau's otherwise calm facade.
So as the day wears on, the tension starts to build. You can feel it, especially around Sonia. The sources say her face showed perplexity and then something very like fear.
Yeah, her anxiety really ramps up and culminates in her sort of panicking about a possible duel involving the Duke's cousin, Monsieur de Relzière, and maybe the Duke himself.
And Germaine's reaction to this potential drama is just, it's classic Germaine, isn't it?
Oh, totally.
A skipping jump of triumphant joy. Because naturally, she assumes any drama, even a duel, must be about her.
While Sonia is genuinely distressed, covering her eyes from what she calls a hideous vision, Germaine is just completely self-absorbed, staring at herself in a mirror.
It's such a stark contrast. Really highlights her almost pathological narcissism.
Yeah.
And that self-absorption, it becomes a key vulnerability later on.
Definitely. This whole dramatic moment is then broken by the sound of a horseman galloping up.
Right. And Sonia already keyed up. She's the first one to identify him. It's the Duke. And he's bringing news.
So the Duke arrives, and at first he seems pretty calm, right? shows them a photograph, teases Germaine a bit about her sense of values with presents, comparing like shabby paper knives from the aristocracy to a pearl necklace as his public face. Charming, aristocratic, maybe a little bit world-weary.
Okay, but here's where it gets really interesting. That casual air just evaporates when he notices something's missing in the hall. His own portrait is gone, and boom! This immediately links the present moment right back to that major mystery from 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Germaine explains the portrait was stolen while the Duke was away on his expedition. She shows him the empty panel, and there, still visible in chalk, is the signature. Arsène Lupin.
And Sonia adds that this is Lupin's calling card. He always leaves his signature.
That detail about the signature is absolutely key. It establishes Lupin not just as a thief, but as someone with this flair for the dramatic, almost treating his crimes like performance art.
Exactly. And Germaine then describes the scale of that past theft, pictures, tapestries, cabinets, a clock, all just vanished. Only the coronet was safe, apparently at the bank. Right. And she brings up Chief Inspector Guichard, the detective sent from Paris back then, who found absolutely nothing. She mentions it was a regular fight between Guichard and Lupin, with Lupin having scored every point, which nicely sets up the dynamic between the detective and the criminal mastermind.
So the past suddenly feels very, very present, especially when Germaine, noting all the odd things happening, speculates that Lupin might be in the neighborhood now.
And that speculation lands with a thud because, soon after, a letter arrives, addressed to Monsieur Gourdin-Martin from Lupin himself.
Oh, wow. And the millionaire's reaction is just what you'd expect from the description. Waving his hands and roaring, recognizes the signature instantly, calls it exactly the same coup as before, a catastrophe.
And the bombshell in the letter, Lupin announces he's going to break into their Paris house that very morning.
Which sends Monsieur Gourdin-Martin into a total panic. Germaine actually makes a good point. They'll just arrive at an empty house, but he's determined. Gotta go to Paris now.
Right.
He's demanding the house keys, which Germaine says are in the bureau Sonia was using, and asks for the cars.
And here Lupin throws in another layer of disruption. They find out the motor cars have been stolen.
So that forces Germaine, who finds train travel extremely tiresome, onto the railway.
This theft of the cars, it's particularly clever, isn't it? It delays them, creates chaos, and as we find out, it serves a later purpose too.
Right. It shows Lupin isn't just focused on the main prize. He's controlling all the circumstances around it.
Absolutely. He isolates them, forces them onto his schedule, and just adds to the general confusion.
Okay, so now the scene shifts dramatically to Paris. The Duke arrives at the police station, acting on Monsieur Gourdin-Martin's behalf to report Lupin's letter.
And back at the house, the police find the keys have been changed. They need a locksmith to even get inside.
And once they're in,
the concierge and his wife are found tied up in their bedroom. And again, Lupin leaves his signature touches, a yellow gag, blue cords, and that note with the motto, "I take, therefore I am."
Okay, for listeners who might not know Lupin that well, why are those specific details, the colors, the motto, why are they significant?
Good question. These aren't just random choices. In the Lupin lore, these specific colors and this sort of philosophical-sounding motto are his distinct calling card. It's almost artistic in a way. It's how he claims responsibility and at the same time kind of mocks the authorities. It's all part of the performance.
Got it. So the stage is set for the official investigation, and enter M. Fulmery, the examining magistrate.
Right. He's described visually plump, pink, bristly hair, toothbrush mustache, but also his demeanor, rubbing his hands with a cheerful air. He's clearly thrilled by the drama of it all.
And then, contrasting sharply with him, comes Chief Inspector Guichard, head of the detective department, known as the sworn foe of Arsène Lupin.
Yeah, he's described as ordinary, almost insignificant looking, but with these extraordinarily alert eyes that seem to penetrate souls. He arrives quietly, already knows details, just states he's just come from the house.
This sets up one of the key things the sources explore, doesn't it? This clash of investigative styles. Fulmery is all about rigid, almost theatrical procedure.
Totally. He immediately starts measuring footprints with an ivory rule, meticulously examines everything, entertains these dramatic theories like murder, seems almost disappointed not to find blood.
And he's always looking for validation from others for his, well, often overly dramatic ideas.
And while Fulmery is caught up in Graham theories and tiny, often irrelevant details, the Duke is watching him with twinkling eyes, finding it all extremely interesting. which suggests he's maybe amused or even subtly mocking Formerly's whole process.
Right, while Gershar is just quiet, absorbing details, connecting things beneath the surface. Less about the show, more about the underlying truth.
Exactly. Then a detective finds a significant clue, a scrap of cloth near a well. The concierge's wife IDs it as being from the housekeeper Victoire's dress.
And Formerly immediately leaps to.
Foul play. He wants to search the well right away.
He jumps straight to the most dramatic conclusion: murder. Based on one detail. It really highlights his tendency to sensationalize, his focus on the obvious, visible stuff. Makes him predictable.
But before Formehi can get too carried away with the well theory, Gershar just drops this unexpected line. She's here.
Huh. The reveal is almost comical, isn't it? It completely deflates Formehi's drama. Victoire, the supposedly murdered housekeeper, is found on a mattress inside the safe room.
Formehi's totally exasperated, realizing he's been played, and Gershar calmly explains, getting Victoire in was easy, it's the getting out that was awkward.
That's the first real hint that Victoire isn't just a victim here. She was put there, probably deliberately by the thieves, meant to be found later.
Yes, and Gershar immediately dismisses Formehi's focus on those latter traces at the window, calls them childish, says they were put there explicitly for an examining magistrate, a clear dig at Formehi's predictable methods. Gershar gets that it's misdirection.
So Gershar shifts focus to the real method of entry and exit, which is way more sophisticated. They didn't use the window at all.
Nope. They actually pierced the chimney wall from the drawing room into the empty house next door, created a secret passage.
That's brilliant. It's not just breaking in, it's like architectural manipulation.
Yeah.
And it explains why Victoire was in the safe room she was likely dealt with after the thieves got in through this hidden route.
Precisely. Gershar follows the trail through the empty house, notes footprints in the dust. But then, another crucial clue connects right back to the chateau. A spray of fresh flowers on the stairs.
Ah, this is where the sources start really weaving the threads together, isn't it?
Explicitly. Fresh flowers mean the thieves were probably at the chateau very recently, since the Gournay-Martin family just came from there.
Right.
Combine that with Gershar's hunch that the thieves didn't enter the empty house from the street, but actually went into Monsieur Gournay-Martin's house using the front door, it points to one thing.
They used the keys stolen from the bureau back at the chateau.
Exactly. So the seemingly minor theft of the keys, the stolen cars, it was all part of this intricate plan, provided entry and delayed the family.
That's Lupin's genius right there.
Yeah.
Using these small, seemingly separate actions to enable the big one.
He manipulates everything to serve his larger purpose. Very clever.
So Monsieur Gournay-Martin finally arrives after his extremely tiresome train journey, finds the drawing rooms devastated. And he's initially fixated on the lost art, and cabinets puts a price tag of 150,000 francs on them. Interestingly, he doesn't seem worried about the cornet, which is still safe in his bedroom safe.
Which, again, highlights that focus on material wealth over things with symbolic value, like the cornet. Just reinforces that superficiality we saw with Germaine.
Then, adding to the chaos, Germaine realizes the pendant the Duke gave her just yesterday is missing. From a bureau, probably the same one where the keys were kept.
Right. So, Formery, sticking to his procedures, questions young Bernard Charolais, the brewer's son from the chateau visit.
Oh yeah, him?
He meets the Duke actually caught Bernard with the empty pendant case in his pocket back at the chateau. The Duke confirms it, but just shrugs it off as stupid. This briefly throws suspicion onto Bernard, another potential red herring, maybe.
Could be. Then, Irma, Germaine's maid, gives some key testimony. She saw Sonia Krishnov standing by the bureau where the pendant was. Thought Sonia might have grabbed it to take to Paris for Germaine.
And that puts Sonia squarely under suspicion. Gershar questions her, she acts nervous, offers to have her bag searched.
And this leads to one of the most subtle but really revealing moments in the whole source material. You really have to pay attention here because the sources point this out specifically for us, the listeners, while the characters totally miss it.
Right.
As Sonia takes off her cloak, it falls near the Duke. The Duke, who's been watching Sonia really intently, subtly picks it up, feels a hard object wrapped in tissue paper inside the pocket, pulls it out, and slips it into his own pocket, all while using the cloak to shield what he's doing.
It's a masterclass in misdirection, happening right under Gershar's nose. The lead detective is watching Sonia, expecting to find the pendant in her bag or pocket, completely missing the Duke's sleight of hand. Gershar searches the pocket Sonia pointed to, finds nothing, and is just baffled. His face goes, "What was it?" An utter, amazed blankness.
Meanwhile, the Duke calmly excuses himself, goes back to the drawing room alone, takes the packet out of his pocket, and yep, it's the missing pendant.
And then Sonia follows him and has this dramatic confession. Says she stole it out of pure hatred for Germaine, talks about past struggles, hunger, temptation.
Now, this confession is complex, isn't it? Did she actually steal it earlier? Or is she confessing to something she only just realized the Duke took from her cloak? Maybe playing into a scenario he's setting up.
That's a great point. It's ambiguous. The Duke expresses pity, tells her they need to talk elsewhere because Geshar is suspicious, which further binds her to him with this shared secret, regardless of the truth.
And the clues keep piling up for Geshar, even if he's struggling to piece them together. A telegram arrives for him. Formery, still stuck on his own theory, just dismisses it. He's certain this isn't Lupin's work because, hey, if Lupin wanted the coronet, he would have taken it already.
And in this fantastic bit of comedic timing, Formery leans against the safe door to emphasize his point.
Only for it to swing open and Geshar pops out. He'd been inside listening the whole time.
Right. Geshar reveals he can hear everything clearly from inside, again, showing his more unconventional, practical methods compared to Formery's, theoretical approach.
Another crucial clue then surfaces, linking directly to the Duke. Geshar finds the Duke's distinctive gold-tipped Mercedes cigarettes in the empty house next door.
Yeah, Street Scavenger found them, thought the whole thing was queer. Geshar immediately sees it as another link in the chain, connecting to the Duke.
And then there's a photograph found in Victoire, the housekeeper's prayer book. It shows Victoire with a young man. Geshar notices a strong resemblance between this young man and the Duke.
But when Germaine sees it, she says Victoire looks familiar, but dismisses the young man. Says he looks like the Duke now, but not how he looked 10 years ago. Which plants this little seed about the Duke's past, maybe a connection to Victoire and that earlier theft from 3 years ago.
The net seems to be tightening. Geshar gets a warrant for Sonia's arrest. His reasoning is a bit flimsy, isn't it? He claims her earlier behavior, plus Irma seeing her by the bureau, plus the idea of her having the pearls, proves she knew the way to the empty house to hide them, making her an accomplice.
Yeah, he even tells the Duke that his earlier mention of Formery finding pearls gave him the proof he needed. It feels like Geshar is grasping a bit.
The Duke's reaction is immediate acute distress. He calls Sonia a child, blames his own senselessness and fault for somehow giving Geshar the idea or the proof, which strongly suggests the Duke is manipulating Geshar's reasoning and feels responsible for Sonia getting caught up in this.
Absolutely. Seeing Sonia about to be arrested, the Duke acts decisively. He quickly grabs Geshar's card case and permit, forges a permit card with amazing exactness, apparently, and gives it to Sonia, tells her to show it to the guards at the door.
And to create a diversion.
He sends Geshar off on a wild goose chase, tells him to look for that supposed handkerchief with the pearls in the wrong room.
And Sonia escapes, using the forged permit. Moments later, Geshar discovers the forgery, Sonia's gone. Which might just add to his confusion, but also solidify his suspicion of the Duke, right?
Definitely. Geshar's suspicion of the Duke now becomes the absolute focus. He notes the Duke's changed, listless air and finally starts connecting all the dots. The cigarettes in the empty house.
The fresh flowers, the salvias, implying he was at the chateau and the empty house.
The photograph that resembles him.
The whole breakdown story covering the stolen cars back to the chateau.
Right. He confronts the Duke directly, lays out all the evidence piece by piece.
And the Duke's initial reaction.
He deflects, acts offended, even suggests Geshar is drunk or mad.
But the tension is really mounting. Now it's getting close to midnight, the exact time Lupin announced for the robbery. Geshar declares this has to be Lupin's work. But then he makes a critical mistake.
What's that?
He scoffs at Lupin's courage, calls it mere thief's pluck.
Bad move. That insult provokes a real change in the Duke. The sources describe this sudden faint glitter in his eyes. He actually defends Lupin's character, responding to Geshar's sneer about rogues having very poor qualities by saying, "One can't have everything. The facade just drops."
And the Duke then takes complete control of the scene, starts this dramatic countdown to midnight.
Makes a wager.
Exactly. Wagers the coronet will be stolen right under Geshar's nose, and that Geshar won't arrest him.
As the clock ticks down, the Duke pulls out a revolver, looks like he's ready to intervene, but really he's just controlling the whole situation. Geshar panics, draws his own weapon.
And at the stroke of midnight, the coronet, which somehow got secretly moved onto a table during all the chaos, just vanishes right under Geshar's nose.
Yeah.
And with that unbelievable vanishing act, The source material finally delivers the stunning reveal we've been building towards. The Duke of Chamras is Arsène Lupin.
He was there the whole time, orchestrating everything, manipulating everyone, including the entire police investigation.
Absolutely. Gershar is left completely stunned, bewildered, as other police arrive. And the Duke, now revealed as Lupin, just calmly walks out of the room.
Incredible.
Gershar realizes he's been utterly outsmarted and orders his men to stop the Duke. The scene then shifts, confirms everything to the Duke's Paris house early the next morning.
And who's there? Charolais, Bernard, and Victoire.
No.
Nervous, waiting for Lupin. Revealed as his accomplices all along.
Lupin arrives exhausted, muddy not through a door, but via a secret lift hidden behind a sliding bookcase.
Right. And he admits he played the fool by staying at the mansion just to score off Gershar after swapping the coronet. Confirms his actions were pure theater.
He recounts his escape. It sounds frantic. A chase, nearly drowning in the Seine, fighting off the last pursuer.
But just as he gets back, more police arrive, tracking him. He thinks fast, directs his team. Charolais stalls at the door. Bernard hides the lift. Victoire hides. Lupin quickly starts changing his appearance with makeup.
Gershar enters, having followed the trail right to Lupin's house, finds a pocketbook, and then he tries to use leverage.
Blackmail, basically.
Tells Lupin he has Sonia, Krishnov, and Victoire, offers Lupin his freedom if he just surrenders.
And this hits Lupin hard. You see, he's genuinely distressed by the news of Sonia's capture. She was caught after using that forged permit he gave her.
So, seemingly defeated, Lupin agrees to be handcuffed. His only request: to see Sonia one last time.
Gershar calls for Sonia to be brought in, announces she's free. When she arrives, Lupin's dismay at seeing her caught seems real.
But just as Sonia is brought forward,
in
this final act of just breathtaking audacity and skill,
he does it again.
Lupin performs this swift movement and slips right out of the handcuffs, right in front of the completely baffled detectives.
Unbelievable.
He declares his choice: life and happiness with Sonia, or dying right there with Gershar. Grabs what the sources suggest is probably a prop bomb.
Right, theatrical prop.
Opens the lift doors, makes a feint like he's going to throw it. The detectives recoil in fear.
And he jumps into the lift as they back away.
But it doesn't end there. As the lift goes down, Lupin uses makeup to transform himself into Gershar's likeness, transfers that pocketbook he found, grabs the prop bomb again.
And just calmly walks out the front door, passes the police guarding the house, passes Sonia and Victoire in the hall.
And escapes in Gershar's own waiting car.
Incredible. He uses theatricality, psychological manipulation, sheer nerve, walks out disguised as his own nemesis.
It's the ultimate demonstration of everything we've seen in these sources, isn't it? That contrast in investigation styles, Formazzi's predictability, Gershar's methods ultimately being turned against him.
Lupin's incredible audacity and resourcefulness, the tunnel, the forged permit, the disguises.
The clever use of all those locations. The chateau, the empty house, Lupin's own house.
And his constant manipulation of everyone around him, using Germaine's snobbery, her father's panic, Geshar's pride, even Sonia's loyalty.
And it's fascinating how all those seemingly random clues, the stolen cars, the broken window, the Charolais visit, the pendant, the cigarettes, the flowers, the photo, they all pointed back to the Duke, hiding in plain sight. It's a testament to the layers of deception in the narrative you shared with us.
Yeah, those details weren't just plot points. They were like breadcrumbs in Lupin's carefully staged performance.
It really leaves you with a compelling question, though, doesn't it? Given how close he comes to being caught, again and again, only to slip away through these brilliant, elaborate schemes and manipulations, does Lupin's sheer cleverness make him sort of admirable?
Or does his willingness to use and deceive people, even those loyal to him, like Sonia and Victoire, make him purely a villain, just a very charming one?
A very provocative thought to sit with after this deep dive.
Definitely something to mull over.
Indeed. Well, thank you for joining us on this exploration of the source